Surprise! A fourth part! Inconceivable! Even after I declared the story completed. Well, I have a particular reason why I decided to revive this story with a fourth part. Archaeus wrote that they thought that perhaps we summarized the events of the future after the prevention of the war a little too quickly, though they seemed a bit afraid that they were being too critical. Don't worry at all, Archaeus. I want everyone's criticisms. It helps us grow. Criticism is one of the best tools for learning, and even though we're making these stories you all seem to love so much, we always can do better. That being said, I actually kind of agree with this opinion, so on behalf of Archaeus, as well as those 234 people who upvoted this opinion, myself included, I think I'll tack on a fourth part to flesh out the future of this what if a little bit. Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, only 25% of our viewers are subscribed, so if you're a fan of the video, please like and double check if you are subscribed, and with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Naruto was finally home. After spending 6 whole months outside of the village, traveling around, attempting to help foster peace with Kakashi's help, he finally returned home. Looking at himself in the mirror, he checked over his ribs. There was a deep gash that had healed over and now produced quite the scar. Naruto had always dreamed about bringing peace, but had never thought that it would be this hard. Well, correction, he knew that it would be this hard, but he assumed he could handle it. For the first time in a long while, he was doubting. His faith was shaken, and this scar opened up here on his ribs was the culprit. He thought back. It was a windy day, and the smell of rain was in the air. He was traveling to a small village on the border between Amagi and the Land of Grass. This area was really starving. Due to recent skirmishes between the two nations, due to the nature of Ame under Akatsuki rule, as well as the very fact that Kusagakure was quite cruel, something that Karine had helped them to understand via her story about what they did to her and her mother, Naruto knew that this would be as good a place as any to start. With the surplus of food that the Land of Fire had, as well as the cooperation of the Fire Daimyo, Naruto brought prepackaged foods and clean water with him. Boxes upon boxes of ramen. This was the staple of his charity organization, which is why he named it Ramen Without Borders. He was here as an ambassador and peacemaker, trying to settle the differences between Ame and Kusa in hopes that it would produce at least a ceasefire. He didn't expect to find himself at the center of a war. There was no warning. He was just helping unload boxes from a cart when suddenly a kunai whizzed by. One of the carts went up in an explosion, that same kunai carrying a paper bomb with it. As the wood went up into the air, burning noodles began to fall. Who would dare attack a humanitarian group? The villagers here were defenseless compared to a fully grown nation. As Naruto looked around, he saw the shinobi without forehead protectors, fully masked and garbed in black. Jiraiya was with them, as well as a few chunin and jonin specially selected for just an occasion as this. The entire village was surrounded, and Naruto, pulling his kunai, went in to defend the helpless villagers who had nothing but broken and rusted farming equipment to defend themselves with. Hearing the screams of a woman, a baby, and a child coming from a nearby house, Naruto rushed in to see a woman holding a toddler, with a young boy standing in front of them, protecting them from the 3 unidentified shinobi with his late father's scythe. Naruto rushed in and began to strike against the shinobi. He hit them each with a Rasengan to protect the trio. As the shinobi fled, Naruto turned around to comfort the group only to feel a sharp pain. The boy, in a panic, swung the scythe. The blade had gone into his side deeply, just under one of his ribs. He was startled, the pain he couldn't feel. The boy pulled back and fell into the arms of his mother. Naruto stumbled out of the house in a daze, his body beginning to enter shock. The scythe, still piercing his side, was dragging behind him. More enemy shinobi were on their way to attack Naruto when Jiraiya swooped in and took them down. Seeing Naruto, he ran over and removed the scythe, catching Naruto as he fell. Naruto! Naruto wasn't aware of what happened next, only that he was in a bad state. There was a protocol for this that they had developed with Jiraiya's help that included reverse summoning back to Konoha. Naruto had been reverse summoned to Konoha and taken to the nearest hospital where Sakura was called in. Naruto was treated, of course. There was severe damage to his internal organs, but thankfully Sakura and Tsunade both were legendary medical nin, though Tsunade refused to do more than offer advice. She saw Naruto as a member of the family and couldn't bear to see him in this state. It brought back too many memories. Trauma. Naruto didn't blame her. He was stabilized and let out of the hospital a few days later with nothing more than a scar to show that anything was ever wrong. Kakashi had told Naruto that he needed to take some time off for himself. Naruto had been neglecting himself and his own life. Sasuke was also certain of this. He told Naruto that if anything had to be done, he would do it himself. So for a time, Naruto left Sasuke to run Ramen Without Borders. Naruto, now standing by the mirror, looked at this scar on his body, a visual representation of the hatred all nations felt toward each other. This wasn't about Konoha making amends. It never was. Sometimes there were issues that others couldn't fix. The war between Ame and Kusa was one thing. The bitterness there was nothing short of Uchiha Senju. Naruto was actually pulling up a blank. He wasn't sure what to do now. He wished he could have talked with Yahiko. He was the one who founded the Akatsuki, and his way of doing things was almost exactly like what Ramen Without Borders was currently trying. If anything, RWB was the spiritual successor to the original Akatsuki that he had formed so many years ago. He needed to know what it was that kept Yahiko going, but he couldn't. Yahiko was dead. No, wait. That's when Naruto realized. Yahiko lives on in memory. Naruto headed out. He went to the prison where they were holding Nagato. Naruto looked in. Nagato was in there with Konan. "You look well," Naruto said with a smile as he walked into the prison. "Have you been eating?" Konan nodded. "He's eating so much better than he used to. He's finally putting back on the weight he lost since Yahiko passed." Pain offered a bit of a smile, though it didn't seem as though he could be called Pain anymore. He had long since let that go. "I hate to speak of something that could possibly pull up old memories, but I could really use the advice." "What is it?" Nagato asked. Naruto's smile slowly faded. "I wanted to know what Yahiko would do in my situation." Konan pulled up a chair and let Naruto sit down. "When I tried to help a little struggling village, doing nothing but bringing food, we were attacked, and the villagers attacked back in a blind rage, and there was nothing I could do." Nagato nodded in understanding. "So what is it that you want to know?" "I wanted to know if Yahiko ever experienced the same, what he felt and what he did in return." Nagato looked back on it. "There were many times when Yahiko experienced the same thing. Don't forget that the Akatsuki were present and active in the Third Shinobi World War. The entire world was at war, and so peacekeeping was very different for us back then. I recall how one time Yahiko accidentally killed a man, which caused him to feel as though his vow renouncing lethal force was violated." "What did he do?" Naruto asked. "He kept working anyway," Nagato said. "You see, Yahiko knew that this wasn't about him at all. He eventually passed leadership of the Akatsuki off to me over his misstep, but I feel him doing that was itself a mistake. All the same, he passed it off to me yet kept up the hard work. It was never about Yahiko, nor was it ever about his fame, glory, or dreams. It was a completely selfless attitude. Do what is best for the people regardless. When people had no light, you became light. When people had no love, you became love. When people had no strength, you became strength. And people tended to slander us, which is what caused us to fall. But those who knew us knew we weren't the monsters we were called. That was until even we forgot we weren't monsters. I made the critical mistake of losing faith in our way forward. I started changing things, forcing the world to change instead of letting it make that decision itself. Would it have worked? Sure. But would it have lasted? No. It never would have lasted because the people didn't want it. Peace only works if more than one party is involved in the decision. If one party forces another into peace, it's no longer peace. It's an occupation. So what am I supposed to do then, Nagato? How do I accomplish the goals I set out to accomplish? You don't accomplish them, he said. Peace isn't an achievement, it's a responsibility. It's something you cultivate, protect, and share. It's a mutual responsibility for the whole world, not just you. Don't carry the whole world on your own. It's not your responsibility alone to bear, it's the whole world's responsibility. All you can do is show them. If they want it enough, they will join hands and carry it. If they can't do that, then there's no point. Don't accidentally lose your way like I did, Naruto. Don't try and make peace happen. Just continue to be what the world needs while showing them what you represent. Eventually, you'll inspire people. Just have faith. Konan walked over to Naruto and put her hands on his shoulder. How long have you been at this? Have you considered taking a break? Everyone's telling me I need to rest. Konan laughed and then spoke. If enough people tell you you're drunk, Naruto, then it's time to lay down. Didn't you tell us one time that you came from another world? Naruto nodded. Surely there are other parts of your future to focus on. You can't neglect that. Naruto nodded. You're right. Thank you two so much for your wisdom. Thank you for yours, Nagato said. Naruto walked the streets. As he did, he could see his breath. Peace had been around for a few years within Konoha since they ended the threat of the Akatsuki, and now it was getting colder. That's when he saw her coming. Sakura was walking the other direction. What are you up to, Sakura? She smiled. Oh, hi Naruto. I was just busy sticking my nose where it doesn't belong. Your nose? Naruto said. Sakura nodded. Yeah, I'm playing matchmaker. Naruto was confused. What do you mean? Sakura then explained to him that she had been talking to some of their friends. I already know the future. I know who's right for who, so I've been trying to get people together so that when Sarada and Boruto and Himawari are born, they'll have the right friends. Naruto just sort of stood there for a moment. Something about what you said there just hit different. Sakura shrugged. Maybe I'm meddling where I don't belong, but you have to admit it. It would be a tragedy if love went on without discovery. Some people need a little help along, like Ino and Sai. You know how Sai is. He can't understand emotions to save his life. Naruto had to admit that this was true, and since certain events hadn't transpired, some of their friends who had developed close bonds during the 4th Shinobi World War would have a harder time finding each other. Sakura walked up to Naruto. You know, this isn't the only thing I've been working on. Naruto looked at her with confusion. She elaborated. Do you know what day it is today? Does this snow remind you of anything? She asked. Naruto looked around. She shook her head. This was around the time that you and Hinata discovered your own love. Naruto's eyes widened. Why else do you think Kakashi and Sasuke told you to take time for yourself? I thought it's because they knew how tired I was, Naruto said. Yeah, of course that, numbskull, but they want you to remember yourself. They don't want you accidentally sacrificing your world for everyone else's. But don't you worry. While you've not been paying attention, I've been sowing some seeds. What have you been telling Hinata? Naruto asked with genuine concern. I was just telling her that you've been talking about her recently. I've been letting her know that you're interested. How did she take it? Naruto asked. She's been taking it really well. She seems excited, if not a bit nervous and flustered. She's actually been looking for you. She wants to deliver a present. Oh, really? Where can I find her? Naruto asked. She's been waiting near Ichiraku Ramen. She knows you always pass by that place on your way home. Naruto felt his heart begin to beat faster. Sakura smiled as there was a visual reaction to his face to that information. Go on, you lovebird. Fly back. Naruto smiled and thanked her before running off into the night. Hinata was waiting just outside of Ichiraku, propped up against the wall, looking at the small gift in her hands. That's when she saw Naruto running. She stepped forward and began walking to him. Naruto! Naruto slowed down and began to huff and puff from the run. You okay? She asked. He nodded. I just ran all the way here. Why? She asked. I wanted to see you. Hinata was caught a little off guard. You wanted to see me that badly? Naruto nodded. He let out a cough. Are you okay? She asked again. Sakura told me that you were hurt. I was so worried. Naruto nodded. I was. I'm better now, but it certainly left a mark on both my body and my pride. He lifted the side of his shirt to show her. Her face turned pink as she let out a strange noise, like a yelp of shock. Naruto remembered that their relationship hadn't reached that point yet. He lowered his shirt back down. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. She shook her head. I'm fine. She smiled. Naruto waved at Teuchi, who was just shaking his head at how awkward they were together. His smile, though, spoke of just how sweet new love was. Naruto walked with her down to the nearby lake. There was a gentle mist hovering above the water as the temperature of the water was warmer than the air above it. What Sakura told you about me? He asked. She told me how strong you are, dependable and funny. Naruto smiled a moment, but it faded. I mean, about me and you. Hinata nervously smiled. She said that you kinda liked me. Is that true, Naruto? He nodded. Yeah, I actually like you a lot. Hinata smiled. I really like you a lot too, Naruto. She offered a box to him. He took the box and opened it. Not that he didn't already know what it was. He feigned surprise though. It's so beautiful, he said. She took the scarf and unwound it and began to wrap it around his neck. Naruto felt the fabric. There was love in every stitch. As their hearts began to beat a little faster, Naruto smiled as he leaned forward a little, his stance inviting and offering warmth in the cold climate. She drew a little closer. Her hand drifted to his ribs, where she felt the scar for herself. You've been working so hard. I'm worried you'll kill yourself if you don't slow down, Naruto. Naruto smiled. I would never do that, not when I've got something worth living for. Their lips touched. Naruto had waited 7 years for this chance again. He missed this. He had been so lonely. Though he didn't show it, he had been in so much pain. This was the moment that he knew he would have back everything he lost. But it was at this moment that a rope dart was thrown from the bed of the lake. It wrapped around Naruto's neck, tightly pulled. He struggled against it as Hinata cried out. The rope was pulled and Naruto fell into the water with his assailant. The water was so cold, it was shocking. Naruto gagged, bubbles floating to the surface. He opened his eyes again and saw the empty sockets of Toneri, planning and plotting his downfall. As Toneri finished tying it off, he pushed off of Naruto and rose to the surface. Naruto, now at the bottom of the lake bed, struggled to reach for his kunai, only to realize that Toneri had swiped the pouch. There was no way for him to get out now. He could only think about how his future, how Boruto and Himawari's future was squandered. His eyes began to roll up as he felt consciousness slip from him. He felt something come up beside him, grab him and pull him down. Suddenly he could breathe again. As his eyes began to adjust, he saw the familiar bowl cut of Rock Lee. "Naruto, are you all right? I saw you from the shore with Tenten. I came to rescue you." "Where's Hinata?" Naruto coughed. "I do not know," Lee said. "I saw a strange man grab her and take her away." Naruto sat up. "Toneri." "Who is this Toneri?" Lee asked. Naruto looked back. "A threat. I kind of forgot about this part." "Forgot?" Lee questioned. Naruto shook his head. "Excuse me, I'm just a little oxygen deprived. I need to go talk with Kakashi." Naruto then proceeded to run off. He raced through the Hokage's office and right into Kakashi's office, only to find him having a meeting with the other 4 Kage. He looked at Naruto with a bit of surprise and chagrin. Naruto raised a hand to apologize and then closed the door behind him. "Forgive me," Kakashi said. "One of my assistants must not have gotten the memo." Naruto waited outside for Kakashi to come to the door. Kakashi didn't seem happy. "Didn't think to ask if I was busy first, Naruto," he asked with that standard look of disappointment on his face. Naruto offered a slight bow of apology. "I'm sorry, Kakashi-sensei, I'm just frazzled." Kakashi welcomed him in. "So am I. I just got word that Hanabi was kidnapped, and by the look on your face, Hinata was too." Naruto nodded. "She was, and we need to get her back." Kakashi sat down in his chair. "Don't worry about it, Naruto. We will get her back. But listen, we gotta do things right, at least on my end. Don't forget that some things are different. The Raikage wants to destroy the moon, and I'm not entirely sure I can stop him right now. I've been talking with him all day, and he's got that super weapon pointed up there. He's planning to fire it." "You can't let him. Hinata's up there," Naruto said. "I understand, Naruto, but I'm simply saying that time is of the essence. Right now, I'm trying to slow that crazy bastard down with science." "Science?" Naruto asked. Kakashi nodded. "Am I the only one who knows what happens to the Earth without the moon? It's not good. Cities will be flooded. The rotation slows down, heat rises, polar ice caps melt, causing water to rise higher. Places like Kirigakure won't exist. Stronger storms will blow through. Life will start to die off. It'll be a cataclysm only barely better than if we did nothing." Naruto was pale as a ghost. "But that's not for you to worry about," Kakashi said. "You're going to the moon to defeat Toneri and stop this, but you need to do this as soon as possible." Naruto nodded. "I can get you a team together if you like," Kakashi said. Naruto shook his head. "No, I can handle it. I've grown stronger than I was before. I know where I'm going and what I'm doing. Bringing anyone else along will only slow me down." "Are you absolutely sure?" Kakashi asked. Naruto nodded. "I can do this. I just need time." Kakashi let off a sigh. "I'll try to buy you some." He offered Naruto a map. "This is how you get back to the moon. Be sure to watch out for the genjutsu." Naruto took the map and nodded. He went to his home and grabbed his flak jacket and some weapons and supplies. He then set out to find Toneri and Hinata. He followed the map until he found what he was looking for. Entering the cave, he found the drop-off and looked down into it. He took a deep breath. "One small step for man, am I right?" He jumped down into it. All the while, he kept himself focused as well as Kurama. He kept his fingers in a ram hand sign the whole time. As he fell, he continued to see flashes of his past, of his future, of everything he lost and might never have again. He shook his head. "No. Focus." He was pulled into his mind. He saw himself sitting in his home. Once again, the Hokage, he was sitting alone in the darkness at the dinner table. 3 other chairs sat there around the table, but they all sat empty. No Boruto, no Himawari, no Hinata. As he sat there, he reflected on the fact that they were gone. Stepping out into the streets, he saw the village, but not the same as the one he had left. He looked up at the Hokage monument to see that the previous faces on the rock were destroyed, and that his own, though it remained, was heavily vandalized. Walking further, the streets were cold, dark, and empty. The few people he saw gave him the skunk eye before leaving. As he walked further, he'd find himself somehow in the cemetery. There, he saw 2 people. Sasuke and Sakura. Naruto walked up to them and called out, "Sakura! Sasuke!" The 2 looked back with tears in their eyes. At their feet was a grave that read Sarada Uchiha. "What happened?" Naruto asked. Sakura attempted to run at him to attack, but Sasuke caught her and pulled her back into his embrace. Naruto was obviously confused. Who wouldn't be? That's when his gaze met Sasuke's. "You happened," Sasuke said. "You thought everything would work out just because you stopped the war." He shook his head. "Everyone is dead now, and it's your fault. Not only did you fail to stop Toneri, but the Raikage destroyed the moon. With society on Earth collapsing, the other villages began vying for more land and resources, and that led to another Shinobi World War. Even Genin were called up. Our daughter had to go fight. She was killed. We didn't even get the body back. All we got was an empty plot of land with a headstone." Sasuke, in a flash, was right in front of Naruto, shaking him by the shoulders. "Why didn't you listen to me? You got greedy and tried to change everything, and now we have nothing. You should have let me kill Pain. If you had, it would have made the Rinnegan easier for the Akatsuki to get a hold of, and even if it didn't, I would have sacrificed my own. Because of you, because nobody had that mutual trust, the world came to an end. And it's all your fault, Naruto. Naruto fell to his knees in darkness. As he did, he found himself in endless black. The only thing he saw was the light put off by his own body reflecting in the water below. As he continued to see these things, he saw something. It was a memory. He saw himself in the office when Boruto walked in. How dare you? Naruto raised his hands. Look, I didn't mean to drop the cake. It was an accident. I didn't realize how far I'd pushed myself. Boruto walked around the side of the desk like you were about to pummel Naruto. It was never about the cake. It was about you being present at Hima's birthday. That's what she wanted. All she wanted. And you promised you would be. I was, Naruto said. Boruto shook his head. A shadow clone doesn't count. What happened is that you broke your promise to her and ruined her special day. Naruto looked down in shame. Boruto turned around to leave. Before he left, he looked back. I wish we had a different father, one who actually cares about us more than his stupid job. Naruto was cut to the bone by that comment. He raised his hand to speak, but Boruto was gone. Naruto sat there. Tears began to form in his eyes. His dreams were falling apart. As Naruto watched this memory, he remembered how he had taken his family for granted, never truly shown them the attention that they deserved. And now they were gone, and he might never get to see them again. Was this punishment? Had he sinned? Why was this happening to him? He thought at first that maybe this was a good thing, a second chance, a chance to do the things that he had failed to do. But now maybe it was a curse. He had lost everything he loved, and there was nothing he could do. He wanted to die. As he wept bitterly, he suddenly heard a voice from within. Naruto. The deep bass voice called out. Naruto, wake up. It's just an illusion. You haven't failed yet. Naruto looked up. Kurama? The voice continued. Naruto, you have the chance to fix everything. But you have to wake up. Wake up, Naruto. Wake up! Suddenly, Naruto woke up in a pool of water at the bottom of the hole. As he floated there, he turned over and began swimming to shore. As he crawled out of water, Kurama spoke from within. Are you okay, Naruto? Naruto nodded. I am. Thanks, Kurama. No problem. Now hurry, rescue Hinata, and let me carve that message into the surface of the moon. What message? Naruto asked. You truly do have a bad memory, Kurama said. Or maybe it's just your mind falls apart when you think about Hinata. Just go. Save Hinata, defeat that blind bastard, and then let me give Earth the all clear. Got it? Naruto nodded. He ran through, basically speedrunning the moon. He made note of where the tombs were that he could use to possibly change Toneri's mind. Entering his six-path sage mode, he began to make his way through the castle. He was a man on a mission, and his life, love, and future were in jeopardy. I won't fail again, he said. I'll be there in person. I'll carry that cake personally, he said. No puppet stood a chance against him. He kicked the doors down right as they were reaching the hold your peace part of the ceremony. Hey, he said with so much rage that he was spitting with every word. That's my wife. Toneri looked back. Naruto then spoke again. And those are my sister-in-law's eyeballs. Toneri sighed. You know, the Byakugan can see into people's minds. The Ten Saigon can see so much more. Despite this woman not being married, I can tell you aren't lying when you say she's your wife. You are married, which opens up a predicament. How can you be married to her, yet she not be married to you? He looked a little deeper and then understood. You're from the future. Naruto nodded. So you can see the future, huh? Good. Then you know what happens next. Toneri suddenly powered up to his Ten Saigon chakra mode. He flew at Naruto, who kicked him in the cheek, sending Toneri into the wall. Toneri pulled himself away and stood. You're every bit the warrior that your future memories portray you as. Naruto stepped forward. You have no clue what you're doing, Toneri. You're following a will you know nothing about. Surely you must know that what you're doing is wrong. Toneri dusted himself off. Don't presume to know about the will of my ancestors. I do. I come from the future, and I know both what your ancestors said as well as what you will do when you know what they said. Toneri growled and then charged at Naruto again. Look into my eyes, Toneri. Tell me I'm lying. Toneri saw something, and he didn't wish to believe it. You're manipulating your memories. It's a lie. I don't know how you're doing it, but it's not true. Together, the three flew through the air, crashing through walls and ceilings. Eventually, they pushed out of the roof and onto the lunar surface. Naruto got his footing. Toneri began to orbit his Truth Seeker orbs around him, taking one of them and forming it into a staff with which to use as a weapon. Naruto pulled a kunai. Toneri, you're being stupid. It doesn't have to be this way. Put away the copium and just come with me to Earth. If you're so strapped for girls, then just go there. There's plenty down there who would love to have a shot at someone like you. You're handsome as hell. Shut up, Toneri shouted as he rushed at Naruto, twirling his staff. Naruto groaned. This is what I get for trying to be nice. They clashed with enough force that the loose dust around them flew up into the airless atmosphere. Naruto pushed the staff down with his kunai and tried to flow into a spinning kick, trying to put the heel of his left foot into the side of Teneri's head, only for Teneri to pivot his staff to catch it, parrying it and putting his staff into Naruto's ribs. Naruto coughed as he felt the pain resonate through his body. "You think your future was the only memories I looked into? All I need is one weakness and you're dead." Naruto growled and grit his teeth. "You're friggin' dead!" Teneri tried to slap his ribs again, and Naruto let him. When the staff struck his ribs, cracking them once more and tormenting the already scarred organs beneath, he latched onto the staff with his arm and punched it toward the center of the shaft, snapping it in half, much to Teneri's surprise. He kicked Teneri in the chin, causing his teeth to slam together. Teneri was sure he felt shards of teeth shattering and flying out into space. Going back on the offensive, Teneri pulled back and summoned his Truth Seeker orbs to fire a golden wheel reincarnation explosion, which Naruto simply slaps away with the back of his hand. Forming a tailed beast ball in his hand, he rushed forward and threw his half of the staff at Teneri before he could charge the attack again. "You fool! That attack could have killed Hinata!" Teneri, realizing that, slowed his movements to think. That, mixed with the staff blow, gave Naruto enough time to get close. Planting the sphere into Teneri's chest, he knocked him back against the wall. As Teneri hit the wall, he seemed dazed as he lost control of his transformation, returning to base form. Naruto, on him in a flash, got close and pulled the eyes from his head. "These belong to a friend of mine." Teneri let out a cry. In anger, he called for the power of the Tenseigan vessel. The vessel shattered and all of the Byakugan within converged on Teneri. Despite that, Naruto already knew that the battle was over. As Teneri unknowingly hovered up into pure sunlight, he began to once more lose control over his form, his Sage mode going crazy, attempting to turn him into something he was not. Naruto pulled Teneri back down to the surface. "Bro, if you had all those Byakugan to start with, why the hell did you have to steal Hanabi's?" Naruto would manage to prove to Teneri that his belief in the will of Hamura was incorrect through the tombs he found. Teneri was destroyed by this knowledge and ashamed of himself, but Naruto told him that it wasn't our failures that defined us, but how we grew from them. With that, Teneri surrendered, and Kurama gave the all clear to planet Earth. Naruto returned to Hinata where she hugged him. Naruto let out a cry. "What's wrong?" she questioned. "Ribs," he said. She looked and saw the bruises over the scar. "You did that for me?" Naruto nodded. "I'd die for you, Hinata. I love you more than my own life." Hinata would kiss Naruto on the lips. It wasn't long after that, Naruto and Hinata were married. Within the year, they were already expecting. Naruto was a nervous wreck and refused to go anywhere or do anything until the baby was born, and when it was indeed the baby they wanted. Himawari wasn't more than a few years behind Boruto, and as those years passed, Naruto's fears had not come to pass. During the battle against Teneri, the whole world waited in fearful expectation. All the while, Kakashi had a high-powered camera pointed toward the surface of the moon the whole time that proved Naruto was there and was the one who defended them. Kakashi used this to kickstart Naruto's stardom, making him the poster child of peace. His battle for not just Konoha, but also for the other villages made him popular, as well as making his group, Ramen Without Borders, even more popular. He got a bit of clout among the nations, which allowed him to better mediate between them, which helped put down unrest. He made himself a friend of the Kage, spending time with them and bonding. Naturally, Naruto would become the 7th Hokage, which the other 4 Kage celebrated. Naruto would bring about the peace he had always desired and wanted. Looking back on everything he had done, he counted the things he had gained. Jiraiya was still there with him. Hiruzen, old as he was, remained alive. Itachi was still in the village. Everything was turning out as planned. As the future played out, he was sure to take adequate time away from his work as a Hokage and instead made time for his family, finally giving over some of the work to Shikamaru. Naruto made a name for himself as the People's Hokage, being the one who always made goodwill decisions based not only on Konoha, but in ways that could benefit the rest of the world. His charity organization he started continuing to be run by Konan, who got help from Nagato. And with peace, he got to look forward to the future he had yet to discover, and now was set to find out for himself. And that's the real end of this video. I hope that was enough fleshing out to help you all. With the more solid ending, I am hoping that it rounds out the series better for those of you who felt that Part 3's ending was a bit lackluster. I want to personally thank everyone who offered their criticism. If it weren't for you, this part might have never happened. I hope I did you all proud. And springboarding off that idea, I implore you to leave your comments down below. Not just on more videos you want to see or your favorite parts, but things you wish had been different, ways we can improve moving forward. Your opinion matters, and it helps us become the best we can be. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well. Remember to ring that bell so you know when more videos like this drop, and while you wait, try out these other great videos. Until next time, peace out.